Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Apparently there's an online petition to get me promoted to Vice Admiral. It's not that I'm unappreciative, but I picked the title Rear Admiral for a reason. And yeah, this is a family show, so let's not go into that. Anyway, welcome. What's going on in today's video? Well, this is Vapor 04. In the Soviet Tier 7 light cruiser, the Shchors. He is top tier today, but that's okay. Everybody's top tier, it's just a Tier 7 battle. This is Domination, 3 capture points here on the Trident map. And today, let's just say that Vapor is very probably, for the vast majority of people watching this video, Vapor is probably going to pull off the most ludicrous number of kills for the least amount of damage that most of you have probably ever seen in a game of World of Warships, but it's not because he's going to be kill stealing. I mean, I don't agree with the whole concept of kill stealing in World of Warships anyway. I don't care who kills the enemy ship as long as you kill it and stop it shooting back at me. But I understand what you mean when you say, oh, you dirty kill stealing bastard. I mean, there is a bit of kill stealing going to be going on, but really, well, you'll see. You'll understand when you see it happening. Now, it's traditional at the beginning of a World of Warships video where I tell you a little bit about the ship that our hero is sailing. Unusually, however, this time around I'm going to start off by talking about the consumables, because the Shchors doesn't get a huge number of consumables, but it does get a pretty good one. Hydroacoustic search, which the more observant amongst you will have noticed, Vapor isn't using. He's gone for the defensive anti-aircraft fire consumable. Which is basically a waste of a consumable slot, even if there was an aircraft carrier in play, because it doesn't stop you from getting airstruck. And there isn't a carrier in play. So the joke's on him. Yeah, Hydro is always useful. Defensive AA isn't even useful when there's a carrier in play. And there isn't a carrier in play. There's also no submarines, but there are a lot of destroyers. And that is good news for a light artillery cruiser like the Shchors, because the one thing the Shchors has plenty of is high explosive firepower. It has 12 152mm guns with a fast 8-second reload, and each one of those 12 guns has a 12% base chance of setting fire on a target. And 152mm HE rips destroyers apart. The problem, and he's lucky here because, well, I don't know if it was luck or judgment, because that Colorado had just fired, is that the Shchors basically doesn't have any armour at all. Now, he's safe from fire from the Colorado, but the Helena's 152mm high explosive shells are going to be a significant problem, because the Shchors doesn't have any armour. Oh, there's another destroyer for him to shoot at, the Huron. He's basically about to catch sight of just about every single destroyer on the enemy team. He's already seen the Akatsuki, who's hiding inside that smoke screen. He's taken shots at and hit the Huron. And there's the Bliskovica. My apologies to Poland. I honestly have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce that. Should we just call it the Lightning? Because that's what it means, I think. Or is it Grom? No, Grom's thunder. That's right, yeah, whatever. That thing. Well, anyway, yeah, the Shchors and its armour, or lack thereof. The Shchors is almost Tier 5 light cruiser-ish in its ability to just explode into a billion pieces the second anybody, even destroyers, load the armour-piercing and just look in this ship's general direction. The armour is so bad that even when anything loads high explosive to shoot at it, it's going to take large chunks of damage. Even destroyers, as we're going to see. Speaking of destroyers, the team are already down 1, and I initially thought that Shiratsuyu over there, who had opened up on the friendly Akatsuki, did so very, very foolishly. And, well, he kind of did. I mean, it's cost him his life. But when he opened up on and revealed his position to the Akatsuki over there, that friendly destroyer was almost on full health, and they caught him in a crossfire between the Shiratsuyu, who paid for it with his life, and the Bliskovica, who profited from it by claiming the second destroyer kill. Actually, the third destroyer kill of the game. It's, I know, do try to contain your shock. All of the destroyers are the first ones to die. But 2 destroyers for 1, yeah, that was worth it. And I'm feeling pretty confident that the enemy team are about to add a battleship to their score chart, the Sinop over there. He saw the Bliska. He sees the Bliska's smokescreen. He's sure that he's about to be torpedoed. So he advances in order to get an island between himself and that extremely suspicious-looking smokescreen. Here's the problem. In order to do that, he's putting himself... Have a look at the minimap. He's putting himself in direct line of fire from at least 7 enemy ships. And while he's doing that, the team have just lost. Their third destroyer, the Huron, has gone down. At least the Sinop's safe from the Polish torpedoes, but the joke's on him. He's not launching any torpedoes. So, I mean, the Sinop's a tough old ship, but it's not that kind of tough. It's not taking concentrated fire from 7 enemy ships at once kind of tough, so he is definitely going to die. Meanwhile, Vapor is closing in. He probably really wishes he'd gone for Hydro rather than defensive AA now. There's the Huron. So he's now got 2 enemy destroyers. Shots out. First salvo disables the Huron's torpedo tubes. The Huron is probably almost certainly repairing that. The Huron sees the broadside extremely light cruiser, loads the armor piercing, does a nice old chunk of damage. Vapor starts angling away, enough to at least... Well, he still takes damage even from destroyer AP, and now the Bliskovica is about to get involved in the party as well. One more salvo should kill the Huron, who has now switched to high explosive. The Huron's dead, switches fire to the Bliskovica. Bliskovica has dumped his torpedoes, hilariously badly aimed torpedoes, I do have to say, and there's the double strike. 3 kills and only 34,000, well, nearly 35,000 if we're being completely fair here, but still, that's not an awful lot of damage for somebody with 3 kills on the scoreboard, but they were all destroyers. That's the thing. I'll expand more on that in a moment. For now, Vapor just has to survive the return fire from the enemy Colorado up to the north, who spotted him in open water. And yep, sure enough, there goes the Sinop, and fortunately at least, well, kind of fortunately, the Colorado is firing high explosive. I mean, it's 16-inch high explosive. It's still capable of doing large amounts of chunk damage, but it's not 16-inch armor piercing, which would probably just delete him because his armor is so bad. However, the Colorado has now shot his bolt, figuratively and metaphorically, although technically, according to the Webster's English Dictionary, that now basically means the same thing because everybody just keeps getting it wrong. What a time to be alive. So can we get kill number 4? Oh, of course we can, because that is what the Shchors actually excels at, long-range firepower. You see, the Shchors does have one glaring weakness. We've already discussed that at quite some length. It's absolutely terrible armor and its propensity to just explode as soon as somebody loads armor piercing and looks in the ship's general direction. But it does have a couple of strengths. We've already discussed some of those. Its ability to set lots and lots and lots of fires with these 12 152mm guns with their 8-second reload and 12% base fire chance per high explosive shell. And there we go, he's just sunk the Helena. Set 1 fire, Helena blew the damage control, immediately set another 2 fires, Helena's dead. And now he can start doing what the Shchors is actually good at, which is kind of surprising, because the Shchors is definitely not a close-range brawler, but he got his first 3 kills doing exactly that. Admittedly, those close-range brawls resulting in his first 3 kills were against enemy destroyers, but even enemy destroyers managed to shave half of his health off with their guns alone. This, however, raining long-range high-explosive spam down on enemy battleships and setting numerous fires, this is what the Shchors is actually for, because the guns have very, very good range. The base range on the guns is 16.3, I think, kilometers. And you can tell by looking at the range circles on the minimap that Vapor has obviously gone for the artillery plotting room consumable. His guns have a range of 17.3 kilometers. Oh, hang on a second. Vapor's spider sense is tingling. He's spotted. He shouldn't be spotted. Well, there's obviously an enemy destroyer in Bravo because somebody's flipping it, and that destroyer has line of sight. And if he has line of sight, you can kill him. And there we go. Oh dear. Oh, that was unfortunate. The Shchors managed to get himself stuck on the island while trying to get out of there. He's getting shot at by the friendly Shchors as well, but honestly, with Vapor shooting at him in the Shchors, the friendly Shchors is the least of his problems. There we go, kill number 6. The team haven't been having things all their own way here, of course. I mean, they have just lost all but 1 of their destroyers and 2 of their battleships. But the thing is, I mean, the enemy team have basically been on less than 200 points for at least the last 2 or 3 minutes, because every time they kill something, Vapor's team, and well, if I'm being completely honest here, Vapor kills another 2. So, he's on 6 kills. He hasn't even done 60,000 damage. But again, that's the thing. I keep threatening to explain this. I will finally get around to it. World of Warships doesn't reward you for the damage that you've done. I mean, it kind of does, but it's slightly more complicated than that. You get rewarded for the percentage of your target's health in damage that you've done to it. So, for example, if you do 5,000 damage to a destroyer that only has 10,000 health, that's worth 10 times as much credits and experience, roughly, as if you'd done the same 5,000 damage to a battleship that has 100,000 health. So it's not so much the quantity, it's the quality of the damage that you do. Also, of course, flipping cap circles, as Vapor just did with the assistance of 2 teammates there, is massively helpful in calculating how much credits and XP you earn as well. The enemy team did rally briefly there for a few seconds. They went back up to above 200 points as they sunk the Flint, but the Flint had the last laugh and he got the It's Just a Flesh Wound award by torpedoing the ship that sank him. So they're back down to less than 200 points again. And honestly, let's face it, with 3 ships against 6, down 500 points and the cap circle, let's just say I don't think we're going to be watching an episode of a Game of Thrones here, if you know what I mean. Oh, there's a double fire. Colorado's damage control is either on cooldown or he's got better things to do with it. And then, plot twist, another fire. A triple fire. The Colorado is not running fire prevention. Watch this damage really start to stack up now. Not just from the fire, but with 3 fires set. Vapor switches to the armor piercing and starts doing some pretty decent chunk damage to the Colorado's deck and superstructure. The Shiratsu's torpedoes are out, but honestly, they ain't going to get there in time. Kill number 7 belongs to Vapor as well. And it's only now that he's actually been able to do an appreciable amount of damage to something that actually has an appreciable amount of health and isn't just an enemy destroyer. He's not quite broken 100,000 damage with 7 kills, but he's on the way with only 2 enemy ships left. And the enemy team have no cap circles. Honestly, I'm amazed the enemy team haven't been reduced to 0 points yet. They keep just buying themselves a little bit of breathing space. But all they're really doing is buying Vapor's team time to farm more damage on them. I know, it's harsh, but it's true. Oh, somebody on the team with 1 kill to his name is asking, how much damage do you have, by the way? Yep, 91,000. That guy's done 91,000 damage to get 1 kill. But as Vapor is explaining, it wasn't luck. He basically killed all of the destroyers. And now with only 1 ship left, come on Vapor, we're throwing down the gauntlet. Can you make it 8 kills with less than 100,000 damage? I have every confidence that it is within your capabilities. You are in the Shchors after all, and raining down death and destruction on battleships at long range like this while hiding behind islands is exactly what the Shchors is for. Actually, that's something that the Shchors can do, if you're any good, in open water as well, without the benefit of island cover, providing you keep the enemy at long range and you know exactly who's shooting back at you, because it's fast, has a top speed of 35.5 knots. Although its turning circle is horrendous, like 900 meters, it's worse than some battleships. Oh dear, has he set another fire? Here we go. 8 kills with less than 100,000 damage. Yep, there it is. We'd like to thank the enemy team for clinging on as tenaciously as they did in order to ensure that we could kill all of them and Vapor could get his 8th kill. And all of the enemy destroyers as well. I sometimes feel that there should be an award for that in World of Warships, in the same way that there's an award for killing all of the light tanks or artillery or tank destroyers, for example, in World of Tanks. But then common sense prevails, and yeah, we don't need anything to encourage people to do dumb shit, right? Throwing their ships away in order to chase after the last destroyer, for example, and potentially also throwing the game. So I'm kind of glad that there isn't. But if there was, he would have earned it. he's just going to have to settle for Confederate, Double Strike, and Kraken Unleashed to go with his 8 kills, 14 fires, 8 capture circle defenses, and 1 capture assist. And that's why, despite the relatively low, well, let's face it, there's nothing relative about it. That is a low amount of damage for a Tier 7 battle. But despite that, he still walked away with nearly 300,000 credits and more than 10,000 experience, because it's not the amount of damage that you do, it's the quality of the damage that you do, which is why, and I apologise in advance to all of the destroyer captains out there, but anytime you see an enemy destroyer, you absolutely should be shooting at it. Submarines too. For the same reasons, and also because screw submarines. And on that bombshell, that's it for today. Congratulations, Vapor04, 8 kills and less than 95,000 damage. Shockingly well done, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.